Alright, welcome to the 5th requested tutorial on LibGDX, and today we're going to answer this. Notarafil, or how you pronounce that, I don't know, asked, could you please make tutorial on ParticleEffect editor as there is a lack of documentation on it, or in general how to add effects on the game? Well, I cannot make a whole tutorial about how to add effects on the game in general. That's probably a little bit too much because there's a bunch of effects that you can add. You can actually everything that you can add can be an effect. You can do whatever. But sure, for the particle effect editor, I can do something. So he says there is a lack of documentation, and that's true. So let's check it out. We're going to the official Google Code project site of LibGDX, which is code.google.com/p/libgdx. And then we got the wiki, and somewhere down here we got 2D particle effects. Then we got the particle editor, and here we are. This is pretty much all the documentation on the particle editor that exists. Yeah, this looks like a lot of text and like a lot of information, and it is a little bit, but somehow not, because this is just explaining what all the individual options in the particle effect editor do, like here emission, duration, count, all that stuff that you can give to your particle effect. Sure, it's very useful to know what the options do, but this isn't telling you how to use it in code. There is this tutorial on JGO. It tells you a little bit how to use it in code. It's not a bad tutorial, but the author himself said that there is some stuff missing, but he cannot edit the tutorial because I don't know why they made these tutorials uneditable in this section of the forum, but whatever. We are going to talk about that today anyway. Also, Nate from Bad Logic made a little particle editor walkthrough, so I don't have to talk about all the different options that you can add to your effect, because that is presented here in this text and in this video. So let's actually start off by starting the particle editor. So how do we do that? We got this line here, which we want to copy. It's basically just a usual console command, Java, starting stuff, whatever. And then we got the latest LibGDX nightly, or the latest stable version, or whatever, I don't know since when it's in there. And you just want to extract this, so I extracted this to this folder. And now I'm just making a new bat file, which is going to be called ParticleEditor.bat. Then I'll edit this and just put this line in that we just copied. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do. So if we start this, shows us the black hole for a while, and then there we go, there's the particle editor. So even though he already talked about it in his tutorial here, I'm going to do it so less that it's not even worth to mention it. So at first I want to rename the emitter here to flame. One thing that we have to be aware about is that the particle editor does not just edit one single particle effect. You can edit multiple at a time. Well, in the end it's one particle effect, but one particle effect consists of multiple particle emitters. So you could have like one flame here, and then you could put another flame here, so both of them are burning at the same time, and that would be one particle effect. Yeah, with two particle emitters, and every emitter can have all these kinds of options here. So we're not going to do anything fancy. Let's just add let's just make an explosion out of this. So what does an explosion look like? Not really like this. At first it's not burning for 3 seconds. Instead it's just, I don't know, 200 milliseconds. Just boom. Yeah, that's more like an explosion. Also, we want to have some, I don't know, top-down explosion or something. So we change this. And yeah, if you don't know what I'm doing right now, just check out the tutorial. Lol. Oh, you shouldn't say lol. Anyway, this looks funny. Yeah, just check out the tutorial that Nate did right here. Okay, so this is a pretty hardcore explosion. Let's probably go to velocity and change that to, I don't know, 200 and not 20. That's not enough. 200. Yeah, that's better, but maybe 150. It's just a little explosion. And then we wanted to get some more particles. Will be emitted, and we will allow 300 particles. Boom. And it somehow changed everything. It's taking too long again. Count emission duration. Yeah, how did it get up to 3 seconds again? Anyway, we will allow 300 particles, and this is just 200 milliseconds, okay? Cool. Then that's all we need. This is looking like an explosion now, okay? I know I'm not a very great graphics editor or something, but this is an explosion now. For the sake of showing the multiple effects thing, let's add another emitter, the multiple emitter stuff, which we are going to call, and I don't know why, I somehow have to minimize the window always to be able to edit stuff. We are going to call this one smoke. So let's deactivate the flame to be able to see it better, and right now smoke is the standard flame that we had in the beginning. So we'll do this to 300, so it's just a little bit longer than the explosion. Actually, yeah, that's okay. Then going to change the color to some white and then some black, so it's kinda gray, looking like smoke. And it's not just going up, we want this to angle. Yeah, we want this to be the same angle as the flame. So, okay, pretty high velocity still, but actually I don't know, maybe that's okay because it's smoke, it's going more white. Let's eventually take some velocity, no, count, yeah, way more. This is a lot of smoke here. Whoosh, whoosh. Yeah, that's good enough. Let's see how that looks. It's opinion if that's a cool effect, but it's good enough for us now. Make sure everything is correct, and let's just hope it is, otherwise I'm screwing this up. Nothing is continuous, it's starting again. Alright, save. I'm going to this is actually in my Eclipse project right here in the effects folder. Yeah, you know how to add stuff to your Eclipse project, so I don't have to show you now. explosion dot p, because dot p, yeah, they always call it dot p. I don't know really why. That's just some file name ending that they came up with. It doesn't matter. You could even name it .png if you wanted. It would still work, I guess. So alright, let's close this and refresh, and there is it. There is it, explosion.p. So I set up this little screen here, which is basically nothing else than a blank screen. Yeah, let me just switch to it real quick. ParticleEffect tutorial. Alright, so now if we run this, we are surprised to see absolutely nothing. This is just a sprite batch, and it's not drawing anything, just batch.begin, batch.end is called right here. That's all that's happening. I guess you know what's going on here. So we're not done yet. Let's have a look at the file that we got from the editor and open it with the text editor here. And now we see it's actually pretty readable. That's cool. So remember the one emitter that we named flame? Here it is. These are all the options, blah blah blah, and in the end we got the image path. Here's another editor, but let's talk about the image path, the other emitter. But let's talk about the image path. So the image path is pretty much saying that's the image that every particle should be, because in the end what particle effects are is they are a bunch of images that are moving around. So we need some kind of image to be a particle. Here we got the image path particle.png, which is the default image that they included in the particle editor. So we somehow have to get this image, because right now it says particle.png. We look in here. Oh, what? There is no particle.png. So let's go back into GDX tools.jar, which is right here, and open this up with some archiving tool. And then we see particle.png. There we go. So let's just minimize all this, put this on the desktop, and you see I already did it actually. But yeah, whatever, we don't need this here. Here's the particle.png. I'll copy this. Then I'll put this into the effects folder, and there we are. So cool. We can close this ParticleEffect file, and let's actually go ahead to actually create the particle effect. To do this, we need a class that coincidentally is named ParticleEffect, and I'll just call that one effect. So now in the show method we can add the particle effect. Effect is equals a new particle effect. That is a pretty simple constructor, isn't it? To actually load the file into the effect, there is another hell complicated method called load. Yeah, very complicated, and it takes two file handles. The first one is the file handle to the actual effect file, and that is in the path effects explosion.p. And the other one is, as the name says, the directory where the loading method of the particle effect is going to search for the images. So we are going to put gdx.files.internal, just the same path as the particle is in, because this is the folder effects here, and there is the particle. So let's actually have a look at this particle file again. So it's going inside here, and it's saying it looks image path is particle.png, which is relative to the location of this particle effect file. So it's taken this image path, which is at the moment just a file name, and going into the folder that we specify here and searching for the image there. So we could also just say it's in the folder image and move the particle.png into the folder image. And yes, I already had it there, but whatever. So now we have the particle.png in the folder image and the effect file right here, and we separate these two by giving it the folders, well, the file handles in the constructor here, in the load method. So I think you get the idea. Yeah, now it's actually becoming pretty simple. We can set the position, of the particle effect, which will also set the position of all the emitters of the effect, yeah, relatively to each other, to that position. So it's going to be gdx.graphics.getWidth divided by 2, gdx.graphics.getHeight divided by 2, just in the middle of the screen. Yeah. Something else. Maybe you wanna actually start the effect. You can have a look at what other methods. What other methods there are. You can get these, yeah, the specific emitters that we made in the editor. We can get an array of all the emitters. We can flip the whole thing vertically. We can do all kinds of things, you know. We can check if it's completed at the current moment. Yeah, all of that. But right now, all we want to do is to actually draw the particle, because if we don't draw it, it's kind of pointless. So effect.draw. That's it. Batch. Okay, this looks good. Let's actually start this and see if it's going to work. And it doesn't. So why is that? We said it should draw, we said it should start, but we forgot one important thing, and that is to actually update with the delta time. So instead of using the update, we can also put the delta time actually into the draw method, which I think, let's have a look. Yeah, okay, whatever. Which is pretty much the same as effect.update and then effect.draw. So this is the same as this. Yeah. So now it should actually display our effect, and there it was. Notice that it immediately disappeared again after, well, it was finished. It just runs one time. And now if it repeats, I press this button here. That's because of some stuff I made in this project, but that's not our Blackpoint 2 project, so yeah, whatever. I just press this button and it restarts the screen. So every time the screen starts, we load that particle effect and then we draw it. But unfortunately, after a certain amount of time, it's over. So we don't see it anymore. That's actually normal and good, because imagine you had, I don't know, 500 explosions in your game and they would all keep exploding even if the thing that exploded is already dead. So that makes no sense. Yeah, you can start it again if you want by looking if it's completed, effect.isComplete, and then effect.reset. So this is going to restart it every time, but we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that. So this is basically how to get particle effects in your game. Now let's I don't know. Let's how much time did I already record? Oh yeah, 20 minutes. Okay, I think that's enough for this tutorial. You now know how to add the particle effects into your game and what you can all do with them. I think I didn't tell you everything, but it's basically all that effect dot whatever gives you. Also like effect dot, I don't know, let's find the emitter of explosion, or let's, I don't know, smoke. So this gives us the emitter that we call smoke, and then we got all the stuff for this one here. For example, we could say I don't know, set continuous. So this is going to, if I did it right, yeah, this is now letting the smoke forever, and the explosion just explode once. So it explodes and then it keeps smoking. Yeah, that's pretty much, I think that's enough for now. So if you got really a lot of particle effects in your game, you have to notice that every time you load a new particle from these files here, it actually loads the resources again. So it takes the image here, the particle image, and yeah, loads it again into memory. So if we had two different effect, same effects, like another effect like this one here, that looks the same, and we have it like 500 times, we actually loaded the image 500 times, and that is resource heavy, and it's not good. So therefore, there's some stuff called pooling, which is used to reuse this kind of objects and reduce the memory usage to only what is really necessary. But that's another topic right now. There's a specific kind of pooling for the particle effects, which is not really this different from the usual pooling in LibGDX. And I think we're going to talk about pooling later anyway. But if you feel the need to know about pooling right now, tell me, I can just continue this with a pooling episode. Yeah, so right now this is how to add a single particle effect. If you just got this particle like 3 times, you don't have to worry about pooling anyway. I think that's still okay. But yeah, that's your decision. So thank you for watching. Thanks for asking. And yeah, hopefully you understood everything. Hopefully I was explaining good enough. So cool. See you around.